Assalamu alaikum. The First Crusade, attack on Baitul Maqdis. After leaving the victims in Tripoli, the Crusaders moved towards Beirut on May 16, 1099, following several prepared signposts. They then walked along the Tripoli coastline to Shika, where the Musaylaha fortress stands firmly on a cliff. The journey continues towards the city of Batroun, with the fighting spirit of the troops continuing to burn. After Batroun, the Crusaders continued towards the city of Byblos, also known as Jabail, which stood majestically along their route. From Byblos, they moved towards the Al-Kalb River, which was the final boundary of the Emirate of Tripoli. On the evening of May 19, 1099, the Crusaders were already on standby in front of the gates of Beirut, although no one had experienced any ill treatment. At that time, the area along the banks of the Al-Kalb River to the city of Beirut was under the control of the Ubaydiyya Dawla, after they succeeded in controlling Palestine, which included Baitul Maqdis, in August 1098 or 492 Hijri. When the Crusaders reached the outskirts of Beirut, the city's residents immediately welcomed the arrival of the Crusaders. They handed over various kinds of food while promising to become followers of the commanders as long as the Crusaders succeeded in occupying Baitul Maqdis. The Crusader commanders apparently accepted the conditions of the people of Beirut, so they were willing to follow the Crusader troops to Sidon or Shuaida. From there they continued their journey to Tyre or Shawa, and camped at Tyre on May 22, 1099. Then, they moved again to Arsuf and then turned from the coastal route towards the cities of Tel Aviv, Yaffo, towards Al-Quds via the middle route. They then crossed the Al-Orja River, and then camped again near the city of Ramallah, which had been abandoned before the arrival of the Crusaders in the city. On June 2 to 3, 1099, the Crusaders entered the city of Ramallah and settled in the city after the Crusader commanders appointed a bishop named Robert de Rouen. Then, the Crusaders continued their journey towards Al-Qabayba. From this city, they sent a special unit of mounted spies led by Tancred and Baudouin de Bourges to Bethlehem. The unit arrived at dawn. When the Christians saw the arrival of the unit, they came out to greet them while singing Christian hymns. They raised the banner that Tancred had carried and planted it high above the Church of the Blessed Virgin. On Tuesday, June 7, 1099 or 492 Hijri, the Crusaders had gathered and camped along the walls of the city of Al-Quds, which was the peak of their journey. The Crusaders attacked Baitul Maqdis again, intending to retake the holy city. With great strength, the Crusaders launched an intensive attack on Baitul Maqdis, trying to break through the city's defenses. After conquering Jerusalem, the Crusaders began to annex several surrounding towns and villages, expanding their power in the region. The cities and villages that had fallen under the rule of the Crusaders were now completely under their control. The attacks and annexations carried out by the Crusaders left a trail of destruction in the cities and villages they captured. With Jerusalem and several cities under their control, the Crusaders showed no signs of slowing down, continuing their expansion into other territories. After the Crusaders entered Al-Quds, it turned out that they were eager to shed the blood of innocent people. They scattered through the city streets and slaughtered all the inhabitants they encountered, regardless of whether they were men, women, or even children. Even people's homes could not escape the savagery of the Crusaders. And it continued all day when they managed to enter Al-Quds. The next morning, the Crusaders continued their cruelty by killing all the civilians who had taken shelter inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque. In fact, one of the commanders of the Crusader troops had made an agreement with the residents of Al-Quds that he would protect the civilian population, but the agreement was simply violated. On that day, the number of people massacred in Al-Quds reached 70,000 people. Among the victims of the massacre were Muslim figures from among leaders, clerics, intellectuals, religious figures, and ascetic experts who deliberately left their homeland to live in the holy land of Al-Quds. Raymond of Agil stated that when he was going on pilgrimage to the holy place on the day of the Great Massacre, he could hardly walk because of the large number of corpses strewn in the streets, to the point that the blood that pooled in the streets reached his knees. The Crusaders actually wrote a letter to the Pope to brag about the atrocities they had committed without regard for their own moral values and religious teachings. The Crusaders then appointed Godfrey as ruler of Al-Quds. After that, they returned to Europe to meet people who had recently converted to Christianity. They then also established the Roman Patriarchate. They established Catholicism as the official religion in Rome.